Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Speed Talk. Tonight we have the privilege of being joined by the Best Performance Motorsports house driver of the Rocket Clements-powered XR1, your 2024 Held Tour champion, 2022 Gateway Dirt National champion. In 2024, he has tallied 15 wins, 38 top fives, 55 top tens, and a total of 86 events. Love him, hate him, we got him. Number one, Turbo Tyler Erb. Welcome to the podcast.
How's it going? What's up?
Good. How are you doing, man?
Good, good.
So you had a big day today, getting ready for the North-South?
Big day. We got to go to Cedar Lake and burn up every single fucking tire we own. So that was fun. And raced in the rubber and made 55 laps for the USA Nationals. So that was also fun. And yeah, we made it home. We've been gone for going on like almost 8 weeks now, give or take. We came home for maybe 4 days, like 12 hours at a time to just reload and work and stuff. So we actually got to spend, let's see, we're on day 3 now of being home and hanging out with Newman. So yeah, it's been good. Just had to kind of rebuild, reload, restock, and yeah, we're headed to Florence tomorrow morning for the North-South 100, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
What were the initial thoughts of Cedar Lake? I mean, obviously results not where you wanted them, but what'd you think of it? I mean, 55 laps in that A-main was kind of tough on everybody, I think. I think everyone wanted to see that go a full 100, but what were your thoughts on the weekend?
Not worth a fuck. I mean, it was terrible. We burned up 21 tires. The guy that ran the place was like, "Hey, man, can you throw them tires away, take them home with you?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And you can guess where those tires were. They're not in my fucking trailer. So it was just a shitty weekend. The weather played a role. They took dirt from probably top 5, one of the worst racetracks in America, Gondik Law, and decided to put it on Cedar Lake, which was a top 5 racetrack in my mind before they put the dirt on it. And yeah, it just wasn't a very good weekend. Decision making, everything about it. We're not even talking about how I ran. Just we ran double features during the day. One of them was half-ass rubber until the feature, and yeah, we ran a limited late model race that paid 2,500. Congrats, Sam Mars, but fuck you because we only got to race 55 laps. So like, I just don't understand the decision making, and yeah, I don't know. It wasn't fun. Like, I've made a lot of good decisions in the last 2 or 3 months, and that was a bad decision, and definitely will have to reconsider before we put that back on the fun tour in the near future. Just not I don't think I'm the only one that sounds like a crybaby, but I'm not even crying. I'm just telling you the truth. It was stupid. Like, it 21 tires at 225 a piece. You do the math. It's not a fucking profitable weekend for anybody. So just I hate to see that because Cedar Lake is a really good place. I've always enjoyed going there. I've gone there for probably 7, 8 years now, and yeah, it just wasn't the most fun experience I've had there, but it happens, and you know, I'm sure everybody involved pays attention to that, and you know, right, wrong, indifferent, love it, hate it. I mean, I feel like for the most part we can come to the conclusion that it was just a bad weekend there, and you know, hopefully they get it turned around and gets back to being what it's capable of being.
So obviously you're loading up, heading to Florence tomorrow. So I guess question I had for you, where do you stay during the race season? Are you in Ohio?
Yeah, my car owner lives here in St. Mary's, Ohio, and I live 10 minutes down the road in Wapakoneta, home of Neil Armstrong. So yeah, I spend like 340 days out of the year in Ohio, and then I get to go home to my mom's house, you know, Christmas, and like next week I'm gonna go home for a couple of days and get some stuff handled there, and then yeah, but Ohio is my home, and it's where we're based out of.
So Florence tomorrow is about a couple hours for you, not too bad.
2 hours, close, one of the closest places we race at all year. So yeah, Florence is really, really close, and there's a lot of races there throughout the year. Just we raced there once already this year. The first race they have, the Spring 50, and Yeah, it's actually an enjoyable trip because it's so close. We can come home Saturday and be home by midnight, 1 o'clock, and yeah, it's not that bad.
Is it a
How
place
do
you
you rank the
typically?
track,
Oh, go
Turbo? How do you rank the track? What's like, where's that sit on your track list?
Lawrence,
Go there? Yeah.
not in my top 10, but it's not a terrible racetrack. It's just it's tough. It's a strange place. It can have a massive cushion and be really really fun, and it can be really slick and not have a cushion and not as fun for me, but probably better for other people. Just it's a good shape track. There's a ton of fans. It's a really good job. The worst part about the place is the pit area. Pit area just kind of sucks. It's just not level, but it's it's not a bad facility by any means. It's ran really well. There's a lot of people there, man. They get a huge crowd for this race especially, and it's a good event and it pays really well. So just I guess if I ever want to race there, then I would move it up on my list. But it's just tough. It's one place that I've never I felt really good there at times, and then I've just been god awful there. So it's a place that I would like to want to race at and finally check it off my list and feel like I have a good idea of what to do there. But I don't know, it's just kind of different every time you go there. They seem to, they make it a challenge, which is good. It makes the racing exciting. It is wide and you can pass cars, so that's one thing that you can't complain about. And yeah, it's fun. Just got to try to figure it out. It's really close. So it'd be nice to be really good there and be only 2 hours from the shop every weekend.
Is there anywhere
Gotcha. So
that
after,
comes even close to East Bay for you as far as racetracks you
No,
like?
no. East Bay is by far, always will be, always has been the greatest fucking racetrack in America, and I will stand by that. Anybody that disagrees with me, just they're I guess they're just used to having the best car and not having to have any talent whatsoever, because East Bay is a true driver's racetrack. Like, you have to just be on the wheel and make good decisions and race really smart. So no, if I found something close to East Bay, I would probably try to race there like almost every weekend. But no, I haven't found anything that quite compares to East Bay yet.
How jacked are you on that Winter Nationals win there this year? Just knowing
It
it was
was
last
good.
year.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to win there, and just we get to go back in October, and I'm really really looking forward to that. I just feel like that's a place that I'm very very capable and have a good chance of winning at, and I love everything about East Bay. I've said it a million times, and if you haven't raced there, been a part of it, it's hard to understand, but it's just it's awesome, man. There's no way to describe it or put into words, but just the amount of creativity you can do racing. You can run so many different lines there and make speed, and it's even a bad race there is better than a lot of places. So I'm really looking forward to going back, and grateful that we've won quite a few races there. Just hate that we only get one more weekend at it here in the next month or so.
yeah, that
With
is a bummer. I got the chance to go down there this winter and watch the Saturday night show when Dalton Wilson won his first Lucas race, and I was standing right off of turn two. There was a million people there, and I just could not believe how hard it looked like you guys were throwing those cars going into turn one, and then how you guys had to maneuver through three and four. It's like it looked like you had to turn through the corner multiple times while still staying on the gas. It's just unique. I hadn't seen anything like it, and looked like a hell of a fun racetrack to drive on.
It is. There's nothing that I've found that compares to it. And yeah, just it's gonna suck not being able to go there for a week next year, but just have to make the most of our October visit and go from there.
I remember hearing an interview about you saying something about buying the place if you could.
Yeah, I would, but there's no I haven't found out where to place a bid, but I would spend every dollar I had to buy that place and just keep it going, but just not in the cards right now.
while we're talking about racetracks, so we all race, but our weekly tracks are Mississippi Thunder Speedway and Deer Creek
Good track,
Speedway.
good
Um,
track.
those are our two. That's our Friday, Saturday every week. What do you think about those two places? I mean, we've got some pretty big events up here. You ran good at the Go for 50.
Both good tracks. I love both of them. And the owners, the promoters, Mike and, you know, Jake, Tim and his dad and all them, they do a good job.
So that was a question I had for you. What was your connection? How'd you get tied in with Chico and Ryan Wedstein and all those guys driving the MB car?
It's a long, lonely night, I guess, and landed in Wetstein's trailer. And yeah, good buddies of mine, and they've been really nice and let me drive their car kind of whenever. And yeah, it's just fun. I enjoy going up there and racing at those places and hanging out with them guys. And yeah, they're good as gold. I mean, I've used Chico's workshop there to change motors in my late model and all kinds of stuff. And you know, Ryan and his dad have they let me do whatever I want up there, which is really cool. And they're a great time to be around. And yeah, I really don't know, just part of racing, you meet a lot of cool people and make relationships that you'd never would imagine. But yeah, just it's cool, but you know, it's fun. It's just it's not what I do every day, so it's foreign when I go and do it. But I think it makes me better, and you know, kind of opens your eyes to a lot of other things that go on. Just you know, they have different rules, different tires, everything about it. You can learn a lot, and I really enjoy being in that area, Mississippi Thunder, Deer Creek, all them places, racing a mod, late model, whatever. It just it seems like a lot of fun, and yeah, I enjoy every minute of it.
Yeah, it was fun watching you at the Go for 50. You know, I think you started seventh row inside 13th that night, or you
Yeah, somewhere back
farther
there.
back. And watching you come through, I mean, you had a hell of a line going through 3 and 4, and all those guys that were running the cushion. I mean, you were running where it seemed like most guys weren't. I mean, Bobby was out front, but when you slid Hoffman and Gus in there towards the end coming through to get a podium finish, that was pretty impressive to watch. Considering we raced, you know, it was still kind of light out. They had just farmed the racetrack. You know, I honestly thought it was just going to go one lane around the wall and there wasn't going to be much passing, but you clearly put that to sleep and put a few cars behind you. Give us a little recap on that run and what was kind of going through your head through that whole feature.
Yeah, it's just for whatever reason this year, the slower it gets, the better I seem to be. Just that was the first time in the 3 days we were there that they actually I felt like it was really fast at the start of the race, and it did blow off probably lap 40 or so, and got to where if a guy made a mistake on the cushion, you could slide him and make a lot of speed. And you know, I was just pretty sporty. I could run kind of through the middle and just maintain my speed, not even use the cushion. And then if the cushion was open, go to the cushion and make speed again. So yeah, Mike Sorensen, Dustin's dad, did a good job, and whoever else runs the racetrack. And it actually turned out to be a good weekend. It kind of started off as a shit show with the rain and everything else. And you know, Travis Tritt's concert or whoever the fuck was singing, and it just yeah, like there was a lot of other bullshit that went on that, you know, was just I get what a promoter does, but at the same time it kind of takes away from the main goal, which is having a good race. But they pulled a rabbit out and made a really good race Saturday, and that's what you can ask for. That's all you can ask for, really. So yeah, hats off to Deer Creek, definitely on the fun tour, and looking forward to going back next year and trying to win the Go for 50.
Pretty sure
Yeah.
from the way it sounded, they tried so hard to get those races in because of that concert. I think it was all basically around that. I mean, we waited till what, 9:30 or Thursday night, and they finally called it. But they
Yeah,
were
I
doing
mean, everybody has to make money. Like you have to give them a
right,
little bit of slack, but I mean, I get where they're coming from, and you know, that's their point of view, and that's you know their side, and my side is I just want to race. I didn't drive to Deer Creek to watch a concert, and you know, I'm not dogging them by any means. I'm just saying
right.
like everybody has their sides. The fan has their side, the racer has their side, you know, the promoters have their side, the track has their side, but um, you know, they did a good job of making it all come together and you know, kind of pleasing everybody, and you know, they handled it a lot better than some people would. And at some point in the weekend, you know, one of every part of those groups were pissed off at some, it's just the way racing is, but they handled it really well. And we ran 3 races and we didn't burn up 22 tires. So it was a hell of a lot better than what I just did this weekend.
Well, because a lot of the World of Outlaw guys didn't want to race Thursday, did they? When they were like saying that they were going to try and work the track, I thought there was something that went on in the pits with the drivers and saying that they didn't want to go out there.
Yeah, I heard that. I've tried to stay away from those meetings because at the end of the day, drivers don't stick together. We're all selfish, which is the truth. And I'm definitely not going to get a voice of opinion that's going to make a fuck. So I heard everything that went on, and yeah, they didn't want to race, and understandably, it's going to tear their stuff up in their points racing, and that's part of points racing. You want to give yourself a fair shot every night, and in some of those situations, being a points racer, having to race on something that's just going to be a cluster is not fun. So I totally get their point of view, and the racetrack and the series or whatever basically said, well, we'll run 2 races tomorrow, and that's what they did, and gave everybody an opportunity to race and make some money. And I can honestly say, driving 11, 12 hours, I would rather, if I show up for 3 races, I want to race 3 races, no matter what the time is. I'm already there. I've already put in the time, effort, the money. So I would, if it's 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon, we're already there. So we might as well race. Just, they used their brain and did it on the best case scenario racetrack, which is something that you have to respect and appreciate when they'll at least work with you and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Not you have to go out here. Fuck you and your money and your race cars. This guy paid $35 to watch. I don't care that you have $1.3 million invested. You're a piece of shit. So that's one thing that people don't realize about racing is, we need fans and we respect fans, but if you paid $40, your opinion is absolutely fucking nothing until the guy that has the most money invested gets his say so. And, I don't say that in a hateful way, but it's the truth. Like, it's no different than, making a decision based off of, the opinion of someone that has no skin in the game, so, we have to perform for the fans and all this, and we need fans, but you also need the guys that have a lot of money invested in what they're doing there to put on the show to make it all happen. So hats off to Deer Creek. They did a great job. We got it all done. Travis Tritt and Randy fucking Johnson and Morgan Wallen got to sing and the fans got to watch and we got to race. So everybody was happy.
So circling back a little bit to points racing, I kind of want to go off of that. I've never seen a guy catch so much fucking hate for not choosing a tour and not following a tour as you have this year. It seemed like I think you were technically on the Lucas tour up until I think it was Fountain City when you were racing the 100,000 win mod show or something like that. I remember watching an interview of you in the orange headphones, and I just read comments online, people saying, "Oh, he's cherry picking, running the Hell Tour, not falling tour, and this and that." And just what's your take on all that?
I don't care. I just, I've ran the tour, as a kid, you think that's what you want to do. And, in the right scenario, it might be, but it just all goes back to the money and everything that goes into it. And, realistically, I have a car owner and good sponsors that spend a lot of money for me to be able to go race. Like that's what I do. That's my job. And, if they spend $1 million and we bring in $400,000, that's a $600,000 loss, point blank. If we spend $600,000 and make $400,000, that's a $200,000 loss. And people with a lot of money have a lot of money because they're not fucking dumb. And I don't have a lot of money, but I understand money and how it works. And I have been around a lot of people that have money and, in my situation, I would burn my car owner out and all these people out trying to run a series and not having, it's not that I have a lack of finances or equipment or people. It's just, if you're not set up to do that and that's not what you want to do, you're not going to be successful at it. And I don't want any part of it. believe it or not, it's political. It's fucking political. It's this, it's that. There's so much that goes into these series, and, we need a series, and there's people that need to run the series that, there's the 6 through 12 guy that needs to run the series to get the show money, to get this, to be able to go the next race. That $3,000 a weekend guaranteed is better than him picking and choosing. But in my situation, I'm, you know, fight or flight guy. I make the money or I fucking suck, and there's no in between. So if I make the money at any race, it's good. And if I suck, it doesn't matter if I sucked and got $500 participation money. It's just not the most, it doesn't make sense for me, and it's not what I want to do. And it's, I've done it, and I've done well. I've ran fourth in a national tour 3 or 4 times. And to some people that'd be awesome, but to me that gives me no, satisfaction. So I don't race, with a long goal in mind. I race day to day. Like my 100% focus and goal this weekend or today at this very moment is Florence. Like I want to win the North South. I want to fucking win both my prelims. I want to win the big race. That's my whole goal on racing right now. I don't even fucking know where I'm going next week. I haven't looked. I don't care. It's not on my radar. And I think that's just where I'm wired different. And I'm fortunate enough, my car owner's he doesn't need the ego boost to say I won a series. I won 2 races and drove 60,000 miles all year and fucking had to deal with this guy and that guy and all this bullshit so that I can say I'm a national champion. That's not him. It's not me. And, some people can, that's their goal. And when that's your goal, you're going to tend to work towards that goal. That's never been our goal. And, we just kind of did it and fell into it and, have been fortunate enough to wake up and realize that's not where we need to be. And that doesn't mean we can't compete on a national level. That's not it at all. It's just, like you said, I've won 15 races this year. There's not many, there might be one national guy that's won 15 races this year, Bobby Pierce. So, I mean, what makes it sound better? I'm 4th in the national points and I've won 2 races this year, or I've won 15 races this year. I did this, I did that. And it's not even that I need that satisfaction to make myself feel better or make you think I'm fucking something that I'm not. It's just at home at night, I sleep better knowing that I've won 15 races this year. Not that I'm 3rd in points and I have a chance to do this later on. That's not what gets my rocks off. So it's just not for me.
Well, and I think, like watching the Lucas Oil Tour last year, obviously no one can disagree that Ricky deserved to win that sucker. I mean, Ricky had arguably one of the most dominating seasons in dirt late model history, I would say. And then, it goes to Eldora, they do the playoff series, and he gets wrecked and he ends up 3rd in the points or whatever. So like you said, you can spend all year, chasing that tour, just like Ricky did, win a bunch of races, and you can have shitty luck one night and take 3rd. And it's like,
Yeah,
was it worth it?
correct. That's what I'm saying. If Ricky would have raced any races he wanted to, I feel like he still would have won every race he went to. Like he was just on kill. But, I don't know what his end goal was, but, what can say he did is he won all these races. And at the end of the day, no one gives a fuck because he didn't win the Lucas points, but everybody remembers that Ricky Thornton won all these fucking races, no matter what it was. So that's just, that's kind of my mindset, man. To be honest with you, I don't care what anyone thinks, says. I don't even run my Facebook, which is a newsflash for a lot of people. They think I fucking can tweet while I'm racing, and I don't. But yeah, it doesn't bother me, man. I have a good life, and I'm very comfortable with who I am and what I do, and the people that I value their opinion are not the ones that have anything to say on Facebook or fucking any of the silly stuff that's said. And, I do have a lot of good people that they'll fight to the death for me on Facebook, and I don't even know who they are. So thank you to those people. But, yeah, it's just, it's cool. It's fun, and it's all part of it. You have your fans, you have the people that hate you, love you. But at the end of the day, it's such a small portion of people in the world. If you really think about it, if there's 10,000 comments or fucking interactions on Facebook, there's billions of people in this world. So is it really a big deal? No. Like, does it matter? No. It's just something to feel relevant in a small period of time.
One thing I've really come to appreciate about you watching you, over the last 8, 10 years, really in the last 5, 6 years, I would say, but just how appreciative you are. Like you listen to your Victor Lane speeches or you listen to you when you finish on the podium. You can tell you're genuinely appreciative of your car owners and their sponsors. And you got a guy on it's a pizza place or something. You thank
Anthony's
him.
Pizza.
You thank him every time, the little pizza place that's on Turbo. I think that is so cool, and there's so many people that get overlooked that want to help us racers, and I just think that's so cool how appreciative you are of everyone, and you can tell that it's genuine. That's something that's pretty hard to find nowadays, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, all the people that are on my race car are people that I personally know. There's not a person on my car that I didn't make a YouTube video and fucking, beg for somebody to give me $100. That's not me. And to each his own, everybody has their own ways of doing stuff, but it's just a lot of people that I've met, racing, doing what we all love to do, and, parked by them or interacted with them, or their little kid wanted something signed or whatever it is. And, it means a lot because, like I said, it's such a small, racing is so small if you really put it on the spectrum of what's going on in the world. And, the people that are a part of what I do, they genuinely care about me and what I'm doing. Whether I run 10th, whether I win, whether I wreck or whatever, they're invested in me and our team and what we're doing. So that's, it means a lot because I feel like, they feel like they're just as invested in a part of what's going on. No matter what the car does, they're all a part of it. So it's not just me. It's, you know, everything they do, I'm the type of person, I understand what $20 is. I understand what $2 million is. So when someone gives you anything or helps you or supports you, they had to earn that too. And for them to be able to share that with you, it's really cool and it means a lot. And if you're not appreciative of it, and I'm not a guy that's had 10 rides. I've raced for my family and my own stuff. I've had one ride and, we've had a really successful run and we've been together for, this will be our 6th year now, and that's pretty unheard of in late model racing. A lot of people 1 or 2 years and then they bounce, or there's some sort of fucking theory or something that goes on that breaks them all up. And I feel like I'm very honest with my car owners and the people that support us. And there's been comers and goers just like anything else, employees, crew guys, all that. But at the end of the day, our core group of people that have been here, we add a person here and there and it just kind of gets bigger and bigger. And it's really cool that I can say, the first guy that ever sponsored me, I still talk to him to this day. And, he does other things. And, I don't feel like I don't feel like we're any different of a relationship because he doesn't sponsor my race car. It's just, I like him as a person. He likes me as a person. And, we're okay with that. And that's something that some people don't, I think some people just take it as someone sponsoring a race car. They're not fucking getting anything out of it. Like, if we're being honest, who the fuck is going to call the side of my car because they're on my race car? It doesn't happen. So those people just want to be a part of what we're doing. And, the only thing you can do is thank them and win and make t-shirts and fucking do all this other shit to try and just show them your appreciation.
Absolutely. And so that leads me to another question there, Tyler. Where do you see late model, like the way it's going right now, where it's come in the last, let's say, 6 to 10 years? Where do you see late model racing going in the next 5 to 10 years? That's an interesting question. We've asked a couple other people and kind of want to get your perspective. For someone that's on the road doing it, racing 100+ nights a year, spending this money, where's it going?
I don't know. I could tell you where I would like for it to go, but I don't know. I feel like it's getting closer and closer to one major group, corporation, something trying to buy 20 of the best teams and almost running it like a NASCAR type deal. Or even if they were smart, they would run it like Monster Jam and they would just pay each individual driver X amount. We all drive the same shit. We show up, drive it. They own everything. And at the end of the day, that would be a show. You know what I mean? You would have the show aspect of it, because I wouldn't give two fucks what happened. I'm getting paid the same either way. I would do the best I could do, but then at the same time, that takes away from the competitiveness and all that of it. So I don't know. It's definitely it's not a poor man's sport, and anybody that's in racing, I don't care if they have a B mod or a late model, they're not fucking broke. So someone that cries broke that has a fucking A mod that they paid $70,000 for is retarded. Sorry, you can't say the R word.
It's
But
okay. It's all good.
like all I'm getting
It's
at
on.
is
It's yeah.
they're full of shit. Like that's not the case. So it's just there's tiers to it. So, you have to realize that at some point you get out of the next tier, and there's car owners right now that own a late model that in 3 years realistically probably can't afford it because a tire is now $225, $240. A motor is 50, 55,000 where they used to be 38. Everything is going up. So you have to keep up with the Joneses, and I would like to say that the purses and the racetracks and everything just keep growing and giving more money back, not just to the winners, but first to 20. And I don't want it to be a participation sport, but at the same time, you can't have a 4-car race for $50,000. That's not what's going to get the fans, which that's what we need. You got to have a racetrack to make money. Everybody has to make money. So I would say at some point, some sort of major corporations or sponsors or conglomerate of something will come in and, start putting money into this, however that may be. And, when they do that, hopefully they don't run out, all the on the fence guys. But at the same time, it's evolution. It's the way life is. So you want to be above that tier when that does happen. So they're like, oh, hey, these 30 guys are the guys that are in it. They're the guys that are going to be here for the next 10 years. We need them guys in. And if that does happen, maybe we're on this side of it. Maybe we're on that side of it. You never know. But it's, it's interesting. Something will definitely happen with the streaming and the way everything is and all the money. The money that's being made on certain sides of racing, streaming and, pay-per-view and all that, it's an outrageous amount of money that if people really took a look at it, they would probably shit their pants because there's a lot of money being made. And, the payout to what's being made is very, it's a very steep cliff there. There's a big difference. So at some point there will be a middle ground. And when there is, I don't know what'll happen, but something interesting will happen.
Do you feel like the streaming of all these races, really in the last 10, 12 years, it's gotten really big, but has that helped the sport or has it hurt it, you think?
It's helped it because people that subscribe to Flow, just like I've subscribed to Flow, I've never watched Flow Wrestling, and I've watched more Flow Wrestling and all this other shit that they do that, like if you like baseball, you watch baseball. But like if you get bored and you look on Flow all night, there's all kinds of shit to watch. And, maybe they haven't captured a million new fans, but there's a lot of people that if I live in Texas, I can't go to Minnesota to watch Deer Creek Weekly, where I can watch every race that happens at Albany Saratoga Speedway every Saturday in New York because I subscribe to Flow. So in return, that keeps me, in connection with big blocks. And I might watch one big block race a year, but I watch 40 of them now because I'm at home and I watch the highlights and all that. So it is good for the sport. And I don't think it hurts the racetrack per se or any of that because to be honest with you, I don't know, who knew where some of these racetracks are that you've never even heard of until you watched it on Flow or Dirt Vision or XR. You're like, hey, that's actually a good track. I'd like to go there. I'd like to watch that. That it opens a lot of people's eyes to what other racetracks are around there. If you live in Minnesota, Deer Creek, Ogilvie, all these racetracks, but have you ever heard of Rocket Raceway in Texas? If you're not a USMTS guy, probably not. But if you watch Racing Dirt, you see all these places they go, and you might watch that race that night and think, hey, that's a cool place. I'd really like to go there and check it all out. So it's for the better of the sport, but at the same time, there's a fine line there where you don't want to just kill the human to human contact and the in-person experience that is going to the races on your any given Friday, Saturday, whatever day it is.
Yeah, because I can see how there's some people that are on the fence that are like, hey, instead of driving, let's say it's 30 minutes or maybe it's even an hour to go watch a big show, say, hey, I'm just gonna sit in my living room, make my own food, drink my own beer, watch the show, and then right when it's done, turn the TV off and go to bed versus going to the track, maybe talking to a driver, buying concession stand food, drinking track beer, and then spending that $35 to $40 to get in the stands, or maybe 50 to buy a pit pass. And it's like I still think it's good to have the streaming like you said, but at the same time you still need the fan that spends the money to get into the stands, to get into the pits, buys their food, drinks their beer. So it's
I feel like like most of the real fans are there though. Like the guys that come to Fountain City and Deer Creek every week that we see, I mean, they want to be there in person. Like I feel like a lot of people see it like that too. Like not everyone wants to watch it on the screen. Like they want to see everything that's going on. They want to be there, and maybe they want to talk to their favorite drivers after the races or whatnot. Like I feel like
Yeah.
you still have some of those real, it's in their blood dirt fans that just want to be at the track every weekend. But yeah, there definitely are people like that are like, well, I ain't gonna go support that track. I'm just gonna stay and watch on the streaming service. Not that it's hurting them a whole lot, but yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from there.
The people that say that sitting at home watching it that are like, oh, I would have came, but it's on TV. 90% of them people aren't going to fucking buy a pit pass and they're not going to go to the racetrack either way. So I think it's a big misconception. The people that are like, oh, I don't go to the races because I can watch from home. Well, they weren't going to fucking go in the first place and they weren't going to buy a t-shirt and they weren't going to fucking, there's just not, there's a select group of people in this world that when they say shit like that, you just know that they don't mean a fucking word they say, so it doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, streaming is good. Streaming has to give back enough to the racetracks and the racers that it makes it worthwhile. That's what I think. It's no different than a pay-per-view boxing match. I can't afford to go to Vegas to watch a boxing fight, but I can buy the pay-per-view and watch it. So there's a fine line there that you gotta have both to make everybody succeed.
Yep,
So obviously, Tyler, going back,
that makes
a
sense.
few weeks here, a month, just take us through a little bit on your Hell Tour. Obviously, you're a Hell Tour champion, won a bunch of races. Just kind of take us through a recap of that.
Um, just obviously we didn't continue with Lucas Oil and all that, and I've always watched the Hell Tour once again, streaming services. I've had Dirt on Dirt for 20 years, so I've seen a lot of these racetracks, just never been to them. And yeah, I just thought it'd be cool to go run the first week and see how it went because Peoria never. I've been there once, but I don't even count it. I was like 16, and then Tri City and the other places that we were at. I've raced there a bunch and had success, so I was like, well, that'll be a good week to do it. And they pay out a weekly bonus every week. The points pay out per week, so just did the first week and won every race. So it was like, well, shit, we might as well go back the next week. And the next week went really well as well. And just I didn't have any intentions of running the whole thing. I was just planned basically a week at a time out and went from there. And I had on my plans to go to Deer Creek no matter what, so left after the third week and went and ran Deer Creek and Ogilvy and all that. And still was close enough in the points to race the last week and was able to win the points. But yeah, it was just like I said, if you win the most races, that's the best shot you have at anything. And it was just a bonus that we were able to, win a points title. It doesn't do anything for me, but it just it was cool to say that we did. I mean, we raced our own Hell Tour, even though we didn't race the one week, we still raced 5 days that week. So it's not like I just took the week off and didn't do shit. So it was really fun and looking forward to doing something like that next year. Just racing every day, not having a chance to think about it. And when it's going good like it did this time, it's really easy to unload and have a plan and kind of start with the same things and just make good decisions. And yeah, we definitely know how to do it the right way. So if shit goes bad, I think we should be able to pinpoint where we're messing up along the way and hopefully have good summers like that for years to come.
Yeah. When obviously it's your job to race full time. For the most part, like you said, you get what do you say, 14 or some days of the year you're in Ohio and probably at the race shop most of the time. Obviously when you're winning like you did on the Hell Tour, it probably makes it way easier. But how tough is it racing nonstop? You know, I'm pretty sure there was a year, and maybe this is a yearly thing that you ran close to 150 shows. So like half of the year, close to half of the year you're
100,
racing.
100 to 120, yeah.
Is that every year usually?
For the last 3 years, like this year we're at
You're at
85,
86
so
right now, yeah.
86. So yeah, we'll obviously get to 120. But yeah, just, I mean, I've raced the first year I moved here, started driving for Best, we might have ran like 60 something, 70. And, you know, believe it or not, you have a lot of downtime when that's all you do. You can go to the shop every day of the week, but when you're not racing, you're not producing, you're not making money, you're not making the team any money, you're not making yourself any money. And it's just like, to me, you're not at your best if you're just sitting on your hands day after day after day. Like you need to be in the motions, going through it. You know, you can sit at the shop for 5 days and say you won Saturday, but if there's 4 races and you miss and you didn't win, you're not really sharpening your skills and you're not making yourself better. There's a fine line where you have to keep your equipment up and, you know, you can't just blow everything you have out and expect to continue to win. You have to keep your equipment in good shape. But, you know, I have 2 full-time guys and I feel like we've learned very well how to maintain our stuff and the time span of parts and equipment and motors and ball joints and heims and just things like that and things that you need to go race for. You know, we were gone for 6 weeks at one point, never went home. And, you know, we had plenty of rear ends, motors, fuel, cars, tires. Like you just have to know how to situate yourself to continue to race. And that has nothing to do with the racing. That's just getting you from A to B to the next place, to the next place, to the next place. So once you figure that out, the racing is the easiest part. You know, unloading every day, doing a little maintenance, knowing you got to do this, change a gear, run your valves, so many laps, do this. That's that's the that's the easy part. Getting out the shop and saying, hey, I need 5 right doors. I need 4 sets of lower control arms. I need this. I need that. Well, if I blow a transmission up here, I'm going to have to call this guy and get a transmit. All that stuff, basically the logistics of getting everything situated is harder. I feel like I work harder at the shop, you know, not races are won at the shop, not that fucking saying. Like I literally work harder at the shop, just changing generator oil, doing everything. So I know, hey, I can go 45 days and not worry about this or not worry about that. I can focus on my race car. And if I do blow the whole front end off of it, I can just put a front end on it and I'm still focused on trying to win the race and do things like that. I'm not worried about how I'm going to get 15 fucking gallons of diesel for my big truck. Like, you know, you have to set yourself up and just set a point and say, okay, on this date, I have to come home or I got to take this day to regroup and fix all this shit so that I can continue racing and doing the day-to-day operations. So it's, I wouldn't say it's hard. I've worked a regular job and that's terrible. So it's not hard. It's just, you know, from the outside looking in, it looks like we just drive around the country, make funny Instagram posts, fucking win. You know, there's a lot of nights. There's 86 nights. So divide that or take the 15 out of it. There's 71 nights we didn't win. So imagine 71 nights driving home just like, what the fuck? You know, like you're literally driving and you've done all this shit, the same shit I did when I won the 15 nights, and you're just fucking demoralized because you didn't win. But you do everything right. You know, we didn't cut a fucking right rear different that day. We did not check this that day. It's just that day it didn't pan out. So you have to have your mind on the right place to be able to take that. It's like baseball or anything else. It's, you know, football, baseball, you have to beat one fucking team. Like racing, last week there was how many? 46 at Cedar Lake. So 45 people, 45 teams. It'd be like the NFL, everybody playing the same game at one time. You imagine 26 NFL teams getting their fucking ass beat every night? They would all quit. Like it's just the way it is because it's it's not as easy as just one-on-one competition. So you have to be realistic about it, but at the same time, you got to try to, you got to try to beat the odds. So you got to make your team better than 40 other teams. So you only got to worry about these 20 teams. And then on top of that, your personnel, or you're this or you're that, you do everything to put the odds in your favor. And then it's still as simple as you run some over and have a flat tire with 10 to go and your night's fucked and you still didn't win. So it's, you just have to be realistic with yourself and understand that if you could win every single fucking night, I don't think it would be as satisfying when you do finally win a race. So it's just something you learn as you race, and you do it a lot. And I've yet to see someone win every single race they've ever showed up at. So until that happens, I guess that's what we all strive for. And to say it'll never happen is, it's not crazy, but you never say never. So until somebody wins every single race they enter in a whole year, and not just 5 races a year, they race about 80 to 100 times, then, I might have a different outlook on it. But right now, I just try to put myself in the best position to win and make everybody happy, and we go from there.
So Tyler, I want to go back. Let's go back 10, 12 years. Kind of tell us how you really got your start. I mean, 10, 12 years ago, people didn't know who Turbo Tyler Erb was. I remember watching you 2015, 2016. I think you were doing some World of Outlaw stuff in your family owned stuff, I believe. Just kind of take us through when you got that opportunity with Best Performance and just working your way up the dirt late model ranks.
Yeah, just my parents, they have a construction business, and they let me go race World Outlaws, which at the time was only 35 races. It seems like it was a lot, but it really wasn't. It was 35, 40 races. So just did that for like 2 years, and literally just me and a buddy or someone that worked at the business that was my age that could go racing with us. And we did that for 2 years, just beating up and down the road. And if we were in New York on Saturday, we had to be home Sunday night so that we could go to work Monday. And, just spent a lot of time learning shit the really hard way. Just, I had a street stock and we raced Saturday nights, and, I've never had to change all 4 rotors and master cylinders at the racetrack, but you melt the brakes off something and brake shit, you got to figure stuff out quick if you're going to race the next day and you're, 18 hours away. So yeah, just cut my teeth and, raced at a lot of places I wasn't comfortable at, I wasn't familiar at, and, didn't know nobody. Like, I didn't know one person in dirt late model racing. So, meeting Mark Richards and Josh Richards and Brandon Shepard and Kyle Bronson and all these people that you meet along the way, it was raw and genuine, just by chance or whatever it may be. And, staying at people's shop because I'm so far away from home, I needed a place to work. You just have to kind of put yourself out there and make friends, and you can figure out real quick who you don't jive with and who you do. And yeah, just did that, and finally 2018 started figuring it out. I guess you'd say. Like, I had a stretch where I won Knoxville, then I won 2 outlaw races in the same, like a 10-day stretch. I won my first Lucas race, and then I won 2 outlaw races, my first 2 outlaw races in like a 9-day stretch. Like, I won Knoxville, went to Atomic and won both them races, went to Mississippi, won Comp Cam's race, went over here, won a Ray Cook race. Like, I just had a stretch where I kind of put all the pieces together, and at that point I was racing. Like, I basically took off for the whole summer. I was like, I'm going to go race. And yeah, just things worked out and it was good, and met people along the way. I was staying in Georgia at a guy's shop, and, everything kind of worked out. And just at the end of the year, I was at a point where I was like, if I'm going to do this, I have to drive for someone else. Like, there's no way I can make this work financially unless somebody gives me a lot of money. And the odds of that it's better odds of me just driving somebody else's stuff. So was able to, meet with, Eric Brock and everybody at Best Performance, and the rest is history. And here we are today.
Heck yeah. So we lost Turbo to some technical difficulties. unfortunately, we couldn't finish the rest of the podcast, but we appreciate everyone that joined in. We appreciate Turbo for coming on. Said a lot of great things. Super fun episode. Glad he came on. Hopefully we can have him on in the future, but that will be the end of Speed Talk episode 8. And yeah, that's about it. We'll sign it off with this, and I'll be back with episode 9 next week. Thanks, guys.